Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 10, and Inside Man. Now, first off, I want to say, of course, seeing Thrawn in an episode is always great. He is our main villain for the season. Every time he comes into play, it's really awesome. He's creepy. He's super creepy when he's being a genius. Like, when he, towards the end of the episode, he's like, oh, they must have, met someone or, have already had someone inside. I was like, who in the world thinks of that type of stuff? Like, they had an unexpected ally or an expected one. I'm like, who the F thinks of that? But that's his character. That's why he's so cool. But it was awesome to see him. We also had, his second in command, so that was cool. We also got to see Callus, who we also find out is Fulcrum, which is, like, that blew my freaking mind. I didn't see that one coming. So, he's changed. I mean, I don't even know what to think about that, but I thought it was an amazing reveal. Like, he's like, I'm Fulcrum. I was just like, holy crap, I did not see that one coming. So that was great. Even better than that, best scene in the whole episode, when he told Kannan and Ezra to make it look convincing, and Ezra's just like, okay, and he sent him through that window. Like, I was just like, holy crap, like, he blew him through a window and everything. I was like, Jesus, that was a little harsh. And then, of course, Kannan yells at him, then he's like, I was gonna do that. So, a hilarious scene, but it was also amazing. Like, it just shocked me so much to see him just be like, okay. And he didn't even, there wasn't even a long gap. He was just like, okay. And he just did like a light flick, and it was just like, whoa, through the glass and everything. And I was like, wow, didn't see it coming that way, but that was pretty awesome. And just the way the whole episode played out, I really enjoyed. Thrawn, of course, was super evil in the beginning. Like, it starts off fairly quick after they go through the introduction. Like, this is what's happening. The opening sequence itself was really cool, and this was a scene I was looking forward to because it was in like the early trailer that they had with Kannan and Ezra on the speeder, and it was just cool. They go through the walker and they just chop it, chop both legs. I was waiting. I've been waiting to see that since the little promo they had. But when they get inside, their infiltrators like, all right, it's Kannan, Ezra, Chopper. Of course, he has his little paint job, and excuse me, they have one of the allies that they went to meet. They're there as well. And Thrawn comes in, he's like, okay, things are a little weird. This is an investigation. We've noticed that a lot of the speeders have just been malfunctioning. It's like a huge rate compared to anyone else. So, why don't you go ahead and test this one? This is one that you worked on, so why don't you test it? And it's heating up, and I was thinking, okay, the guy's going to try to come up with some sort of lie or whatever. And that doesn't play out the way I thought it would. I also thought he could jump off this thing. I mean, I know he doesn't want to, like, get busted, but at the same time, I mean, he sees the thing's overheating. I'm going to hop up and at least attempt to jump off. It seemed like he just freaked out. I was like, ah, and it blew up and killed him. But it was still a great opening sequence for Thrawn. Like, that was his first moment in this episode. And it's like, doing this creepy voice thing. And he has him tested, and he kicks that bad boy up. He's like, I have to stop. He's like, oh, no, we're not done. Kicks it right up and, blows the guy to pieces. And I was like, wow, that was a pretty insane opening. That was really cool. Also, it was super dark because they, like, just blew a guy up. And there were no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, that guy was on a malfunctioning machine. It exploded, and he's dead now. And that was all there was to it. Like, even the mask, it didn't just, like, blow off and, like, oh, it landed on the ground. This is a glass mask, and the whole thing was, like, charred black, pretty much. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Because they typically don't get, like, super, super dark because it's Disney now instead of, like, when it was Clone Wars, like, on Toonami. So, that was kind of cool. I was like, alright, that was a cool, really dark moment. They, even in the old Clone Wars, they wouldn't, like, show people, like, just flat out explode like that. Probably because it would have been, like, such a personal explosion. It's not like a grenade went off, like, a huge explosion. This was, like, he's sitting on it. He would have to, like, blow to pieces as this thing exploded. So, I was like, alright, that was a nice, dark little sequence that they had. Rest of the episode, I thought, really entertaining watching Kannan and Ezra go through this crazy experience. Getting busted, messing with the other droid and getting the key card and stuff and trying to wait on Chopper. And it was just fun. I was like, this is this really simple episode, but it was really fun. They're also, simply put, they're on Lothal, which I guess I should have mentioned that early on. That's always a big deal, of course, because that's our starting planet for this series. That's, Ezra's home planet. Like, that's where he kind of belongs, So that was really cool, of course. Thrawn realized that. He's like, I've seen this symbol, and it's like, it's the symbol of the Phoenix Squadron and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I see it a lot, but I see it a ton here. It's like, this is a home that they were returned to. So he realizes how significant Lothal really is to them. and that, it's mostly tied into Ezra and how everything picked up for this team because that's where they started out. So, excuse me. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, all right, he's got that. In general, his office was kind of creepy because he had all those pictures from Hera's home, and I was like, man, something about that makes him cooler as a villain because it's like a little creepy that he almost has these trophies, but it's not like these are my victory trophies or anything like that. This is just his character in general. Like, he just stole all this, meaningful stuff from Hera's home, and I just like that. Like, he has, the holograms of these paintings and stuff. He had just a flat out picture of Ezra, but I was like, I like that. Something about that was just like, like, clearly he's the mental type of villain. Like, he thinks about everything, and that's what makes him so good. But just having that thing where it's just a bunch of pictures scattered. They aren't even lined up. They're just, like, all over the place in, like, awkward positions and stuff. And I was like, something about that is entertaining to me where he just looks at these pictures constantly. That's how he continues to have this momentum towards his enemies and figuring out what they're going to do next. Like, and just figuring out who all the individual characters are as much as he can. And I was like, something about that is just really cool to me. So I loved his office. That I'm assuming that would be something that they can carry over to other locations because it was all like hologram stuff. So I'd like to see that in more episodes where he's just in a fixed location and it's like, all right, I know I'm going to be here for a certain amount of time, so let me flip on all these holograms and start looking at these pictures again. Which you would think at this point, that was like 4 episodes ago or something like that when they did the scene at Hera's house, probably even more than that, and he's still looking at that. So that's already been over a month for us. In the show, it has to have been like a crazy long time because just the way they do time skips. So I just thought that was really interesting. Like, he's still looking at these pictures. He has, like, the picture of Ezra isn't even anything special. It's literally just a picture of Ezra when he had, like, longer hair. It's like an old picture of him. And that's it. Like, there's nothing special to the stuff with Ezra, but it was just entertaining to me. I was like, I just love that about his character. It's so creepy, and you know that there's something useful for him, even though it's something that he's seen like a million different times. So, just makes me love his character. Every time he's on it, it's just really freaking cool. But I love what they did with this episode. I thought, the little action moments that we got were actually pretty entertaining. That part with Callus going through that window is the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm excited to see where they take this stuff with Callus somewhat being a hero. And now he's, of course, Thrawn being as, awesome as he is as a villain. He's like, they have a spy within our ranks. Like, he just knew that had to be what it was. It couldn't have been someone else snuck in a long time ago. It has to specifically be someone within our ranks. That's all there is to it. And I don't know if he was hinting or that was just, the typical menacing TV thing where it's like the person that is the spy, that's who the main villain talks to last. Because it's like he's talking to both of them and then he specifically says Callus's name last. So they do that all the time in TV, so I don't think he actually has any inkling that it truly is Callus. But I don't know. At the same time, considering the things we've seen in this season with Thrawn, he's let them go a bunch of different times. And I mentioned that before. Like, he always lets them go to move on to the bigger picture. And he might be doing the exact same thing right now. Like, I know that it's you, but when that next big mission comes along, we'll see what happens. So it's really hard to say with this character. It could be the typical generic sort of TV thing, or he could know that it's Callus and he's waiting for his better chance, like he has been the entire season. So it's really hard to say, but either way, I thought this was a really fun episode. I don't know what the heck they're gonna do with this Callus Fulcrum thing. I mean, that just really shocked me. I couldn't believe that was the case. I mean, I knew, of course, we had those couple of moments, but it kind of explains why. It really explains why he let Sabine go. It wasn't just Zeb. It was like, no, he changed his mind. Or maybe, heck, maybe even back then he hadn't changed his mind just yet, and it really was because of Zeb. But either way, nice little surprise there. Enjoyed the action, enjoyed the comedy, but I'm excited to see where they take this Callus stuff with him being on the inside, how often they're going to utilize that, and, how often that'll be a part of the story or not, because he's a character I actually like to see, because I've always thought he was a cool villain, because he's always the sub-villain, so he's the sub-villain that always lives, and now he's in this really weird gray area where he's one of the good guys, but is that a permanent thing? I mean, there would be no reason for him to infiltrate, and truly help them out, but I don't know. And based on the scenes we saw, like, I doubt that he's doing it for his own little plan to help. Like, he probably would have just told Thrawn, like, hey, I'm infiltrating them, helping them out. We could just do it this way. So, in considering Thrawn as a character, no one would even know that that was happening if they did that. But they've had certain scenes, so he's hiding in plain sight. And honestly, I just can't wait to see where they take it. But this, I thought, was a really good episode, of course. Definitely want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, or least favorite parts. And I actually want to know what you guys think about Callus being the new Fulcrum. Like, do you think it's good? Were you surprised? Did you somehow expect it? I never would have expected that, to be totally honest. I like it, and I was surprised. So, I want to know what you guys thought about that reveal, and of course, what you thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.